Hey there, I'm Gamer Ben, and this is how to be a YouTuber. I bet you $10 that you clicked on this video because of the thumbnail, but what if you want to make a thumbnail that gets clicks? Well, in this video, I'll show you all the steps I took to make the thumbnail of this video so you can use the tools you've learned to create your own thumbnail. So, there are two ways that you can make a thumbnail. The first option is to use a Minecraft NPC mod to create a static player with your skin, like I did in this video. And the second option is to use a 3D modeling software to rig up your player. Both of these options have their pros and their cons, but it all depends on the situation and what your video is about. In this video, I'll be showing you how to create a thumbnail using option 2. Now, I know it seems complex, but trust me, it isn't. I'll provide you with the tools to make sure that the process is as easy and simple as possible. The first step is to open your 3D modeling software. There are two main options for this: Blender and Blockbench. Blender is a bit hard to use, but allows for proper lighting, full rig support, and allows for more complex tweaks to the model. In this video, I'll show you how to use both of them, so use the video's chapters to skip to whichever one you want to use. First off is Blender. Now, there are a few things you have to do before you can use Blender for thumbnails. First off, well, install Blender itself. And next is Ragon's player rig. I'll put a link to it down below. This is how you get your player model and can work with it for a thumbnail. Once you have both of these installed, create a new project by clicking the General button on the homepage of Blender. Next, delete everything in the workspace except the camera, as this is needed to render your shot. To add the player rig, first extract the zip that you downloaded containing the player rig. Then, in Blender, press File, Append, then open the folder that you just extracted, and select either Slim or Classic for the file inside the folder. This all depends on what your Minecraft skin's size is. You will then see a bunch of folders. Double-click on the one titled Collection, then open the Minecraft player file inside of that folder. Boom! Now your player rig is in your project. Next up, you need to add your skin to the rig. To do this, click on the red beach ball icon in the bottom right. This is the Material Properties section. Inside of here, click the folder icon, and then select the PNG of your current Minecraft skin or the Minecraft skin you want the rig to have. This video isn't a Blender tutorial, so if you need to figure out how to move around in Blender and use the player rig, I'd recommend Ragon's video on the player rig, as it also shows you how to use the basic parts of Blender needed for this tutorial. Now that you've applied your skin to the player rig, you can pose the rig however you would like. To do this, select the gray triangles that are scattered throughout the rig. These are the model's bones. Then, click on the drop-down titled Object Mode in the top left, and change it to Pose Mode. You can then click on any of the bones and use the Rotate tool to move them to your liking. As you rotate the bones, the model's limbs will update accordingly. If you're having trouble with posing your model as you don't know how you want it to look in the thumbnail, then I'd recommend skipping the rig and following the rest of the steps to create the thumbnail, then coming back to this step with your work-in-progress thumbnail and using it as a reference image, which can be directly imported into Blender. This allows you to figure out how you want your posing to look that will work with your thumbnail without just guessing. Next up is the lighting. Now, this all depends on what you want your final thumbnail to look like. In this thumbnail, I wanted to have a light being cast onto the player from the text above. Remember, though the lighting is optional, you must have at least one white light that casts onto the entire player, or else it will be very dark in the render. There are some exceptions though. In this case, I wanted the player's body to fade off at the bottom, so I didn't add a white light. The next step is to move the camera. Make sure that whatever you want in the shot is inside of the camera view. You can see the camera view by pressing the little camera button on the right side of your screen. Adjust this to your liking. Remember, the final image is taken from your camera's viewpoint, so if anything is cut out in there, it will be cut out in the render as well. The final step before rendering your shot is to make sure that the render background is transparent, as you only have your character in the scene. To do this, press the camera button in the same section as the beach ball, but just up higher. This is the render section, but it doesn't render the shot, it only changes the settings that will be applied in the render. Then, scroll down to the film section and make sure that it is expanded. Find the transparent check mark and make sure that it is checked. Finally, render your shot. To do this, press the F12 button on your keyboard and wait for it to load. If Blender seems to freeze, do not close it, as it just takes some time while rendering the shot, as it has to map out all the lighting. If you do not have an F12 button on your keyboard, or you don't feel like pressing it for whatever reason, you can just go to the render section in the top left corner, then press Render Image. To save the final shot, press the Image button in the top left corner of the render window, then click on Save As and choose your destination folder. Now we're done in Blender. Make sure to save the project before closing it, as you may need to tweak the model later. Part 2. Blockbench. To make a rig in Blockbench, it's pretty simple. To start, download Blockbench with the link in the description. Next, open it up and click on Minecraft Skin, then Create New Model. Change the model type to be either slim or wide, depending on your Minecraft skin. Keep the resolution at default, and for the texture, set it to be your Minecraft skin's texture. Make sure pose and layer texture are checked, then hit confirm. The next step is to make sure that all the layer texture versions of the model are enabled, as this allows for any textures on the second layer of your Minecraft skin to be visible. Next, click the pose button in the top left. This will bring you to the pose editor. Click on a limb to modify it. You can also use the move tool to change the position of limbs and detach them from the original body. Choose a pose that fits your thumbnail. Remember, if you can't figure out what pose will fit your thumbnail as you haven't made it yet, then I'd recommend skipping this step, then following the rest of the steps to create your base thumbnail, then coming back to this step with your work in progress thumbnail and importing it as a reference image directly into Blockbench. To render your pose, right-click on a blank area around your model, not on any limb or body part, and then click Screenshot Model. Then, hit Save and choose a location. Make sure you save the model before closing the program in case you need to edit the pose later. Next up is the thumbnail creation process. This is where you combine your Minecraft player render with any text, thumbnail assets, or any other things that you want to put in your final thumbnail. Instead of using Photoshop, as it is paid, we'll be using a free web-based alternative called Photopea. Go to photopea.com or use the link in the description. Inside of Photopea, click New Project, then YouTube Thumbnail, and then title your project. Once in your newly created project, use the fill tool to set the background color to whatever color you want, or just leave it as white. You can also use an image by deleting that layer and replacing it with your image. For my thumbnail, I used a background from Proger's Thumbnail Asset Pack. A link to his video and the download for his pack can be found in the description. Now, open your File Explorer and drag and drop the render that we just made in Blender or Blockbench, the PNG file, onto the Photopea project. Adjust its size and rotation as you'd like. Then, add text, effects, and tweak anything you need. Once your thumbnail is done, press the File button in the top left corner, then Save as PSD, and then choose your file location. Saving as a PSD allows you to open it in Photopea again and modify it later if needed, or use it for reference for newer thumbnails. To export your thumbnail, press the same File button, then Export as PNG, then press Save, and choose your file location. You now have a completed thumbnail that is ready to upload to YouTube. But wait! If when uploading the file it says that it must be less than 2 megabytes, then don't worry. Go to imageresizer.com/image-compressor or hit the link in the description and select your thumbnail file. Wait for it to load, then change the quality slider to be 100. Now, you may think that this won't change anything, right? Well, yes and no. It doesn't change the image colors in any visible way, but it does shrink the file size to just a few kilobytes. Then, press the download image button. Now, upload the thumbnail to YouTube. Make sure you select the one with a bracket 1 bracket at the end, as it is your smaller version. If you'd like to preview how your thumbnail would look at all different sizes and on all different devices, then go to thumbsup.tv. You can even preview your thumbnail with the video title. That's all for this video, so if you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing as it helps out a ton and we're so close to 2,000 subscribers. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.